Welcome to today's Seidokan Saturday. So, Ippon Kumite is next. And again, please always go back and refer to earlier videos when I talk about this. Some of this is going to be redundant. The idea of Ippon Kumite, or what's called one-step fighting, is often misunderstood, and I explained it in full detail way back when. But just to recap, the idea is to take specific attacks and then, in my dojo, to take the basics, the kihon, blocks, punches, punch-kick combinations, specifically at this rank, the new hand strikes, ura, tatezuki, uraken, knife hand, shitouchi, the new strikes that we've used, and put them into spontaneous defense against those various attacks. Things that McCarthy Sensei calls habitual acts of violence, the ways people, if you looked at thousands of hours of street fights, what do people do when they attack? They headbutt, they elbow, they choke, they bear hug, they windmill punch, so forth. So taking those basic attacks. Well, we're using karate attacks, so it's a lot more formal, but the notion isn't just that somebody, hey, Chudan, punch and stand, and now I get to just stand here while this guy creatively beats me up. But conceptually, that if he's going to punch once, he's probably going to punch again and follow up with something. So my job as the defensive side of that is to limit him to that single punch. Okay, so Max is going to help me with this today. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Come on up this way. Okay, come on. Hey! So again, let's just go street fight mode here. Slow so I don't have to bang your arm, because if he takes wild swings, one's easy, just wild swings, bam! And I hit that hard, that kind of slows down and limits what's going to come next. And I sort of talked about this the other day in one of the other videos, that a lot of people think of blocking as just not getting hit. Not getting hit is covering or framing. Blocking is to injure his arm, break his limb, grab him, hit him, okay? So my block, again, if he comes in with that wild swing and I go block here, I've already stopped him with my uchiuke, which kind of is an uraken or a riken strike in this case. So the idea is he wanted to hit me more times, because that's just the kind of guy he is. The street guy wants to swing and hit you more or grab you and do more things. The notion of Ippon is not his one step, but me limiting him to the one step. Now we go back and put that in the context of what I talked about in sparring with the blocking and kicking. At this level, our doubles are blocks with kicks. We also have block, kick, punch follow-ups from the previous rank. So I want to use as many hand strikes, kicks, block, kick, punch, block, punch, kick, different combinations and types of defensive movements as I can possibly come up with in my head. This is where I'm a martial artist, not a martial copycat, right? Lesson number 1, crowbar, grab wrist, hit elbow. All the memorized techniques are for one thing only, to build concepts, to build principles, to build positional familiarity. So when the random attack comes, I can then draw on that and innovate. I may start with what looks like one of our set techniques, but what can I add to that? How can I tweak that or alter that? How can I maybe step differently or follow up different? So those are the concepts we want to look at when we practice our Ippon Kumite. Number 1, stop him at one strike. Get in a position where if he's going to hit me, he has to move, and I've limited his first attack to being fairly ineffective in terms of being able to follow up. Okay? So our 5 attacks are Jodan, Chudan, Maigeri, Mawashigeri, and Yokogeri Kekomi, side thrust kick. Okay? So I'm just going to do a couple of examples of each just to give you an idea of using the strikes, blocks, punches, kicks that we've learned at this level. And again, I taught the block kick combinations. For example, soto uke, shirogeri. That combination doesn't have to be that. I can do soto uke, maigeri, just so long as I block and follow up. And then again, we can add on after that, okay? So that hopefully that makes sense. These are just thought examples. Please don't memorize and copy me. Be a martial artist, not a martial copycat. Create your own canvas. Figure out what your body feels comfortable doing within the parameters of Okinawan principles of centerline control, distancing, ma'ai, timing, all of those things that go back to my first 10 or 15 videos. Okay? Onegaishimasu. Okay, kime. Hey, Chudan.
Chudan.
Hey. Chudan again.
Chudan.
Hey. Hey. So, maigeri gyaku, yokogeri tatezuki, just as an idea. Chudan.
Chudan.
Now, obviously, with Chudan, pretty much high block or no block. At Chudan, we have soto, uchi, shutoke. We have a variety of things we can do. For more advanced, we have dragon traps, we have palm parries, but bearing in mind that I want to control where he is. Okay, so Chudan. Chudan.
Chudan.
Knife hand, spear, palm heels, so forth. Maigeri.
Maigeri.
Now with Maigeri, I want to be aware of what his follow-up might be, well, with all of them. If he's punching with his right hand, his next punch in real life is probably going to be the left one, right? The wild swinging. So you always want to kind of be aware of where that's going to be and either beat, if I'm on the inside, beat him to the second punch. If I'm on the outside, position myself where he can't easily do that next punch. Okay, so Maigeri. Hey! Get on Seidokan, Maigeri nukute. Hey! See, I called it out as I went that time for fun and giggles. Hey! Get on Barai, turn him around. Maigeri, Teishochi. As a possibility, okay? Mawashigeri.
Mawashigeri.
Mawashigeri, you gotta be careful to not get hit on the strength of his kick. And we've talked about this back before, but as his kick comes around arcing, or comes up and flips into the arc, however his version of the roundhouse kick is thrown, I want to move not into it where I'm gonna get pegged, but be at the end point where the power is dissipating a little bit. We have Moroteuke, again, depending on the height of his kick, might be Gerambarai with a hand cover, the universal block position, could be any number of things. I could possibly spin him through his roundhouse kick, depending on how he's throwing it. So, Mawashigeri. Jump! Knees! Up. Again, Mawashigeri. Hey! Knees! Possibilities. Yokogeri kekomi.
Okay.
Now again, Yokogeri kekomi, typically he's going to be thrown by him turning sideways. So I don't want to go where he's turning. I want to go away from his turn. Hey! So I would come this side. And again, maigeri of some sort. Imbuchi. Hey! Gerambarai. Yokogeri kekomi. Uraken. Other possibilities. Okay? Now, thank you. Hopefully noted at this level, I'm trying to do at least 2 strikes. Either 2 hand strikes, 2 kicks, a kick and a punch, which is what most of mine were, or 2 hits. So I'm trying to not just single punch. The Iken Hisatsu 1 punch, 1 kill thing, it can't happen. If you sucker punch a guy, you can knock him out with 1 shot. But if he's already on the offensive and his adrenaline's up, usually going to need more than 1. And it's always good to have extra ammo in your magazine rather than just relying on the single shot. Ippon Kumite, again, go back and watch earlier videos regarding the concepts, which I sort of briefly reviewed here. And at this level, double a block with at least a kick or a hit and a follow-up, 1 or 2, possibly even 3, depending on how far you want to take that for the 6th Q, Rokyu green belt level. Thanks for joining. Somehow magically this week went up to almost, I think 109 followers, up from the low 80s where I was just a few weeks ago. So new followers, arigatou gozaimasu. Thank you so much. Glad to have you on board. Please ask questions, contribute, interact. that's how we're going to build this thing as I continue making these. I don't intend to stop till we get all the way through my personal curriculum for second, third degree black belt. After that, I'll probably keep it a little more private, but I'll keep going from there. And then after that, we can go back and do analytics and throw in other things. So thank you again for joining. Stick with me, ask questions, participate. Glad to have you on board. And until next week, as always, keep practicing.